for you.
Oh.
Right. So I think we should start.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone who is present over here. Today we have Dr. Angshuman Ghosh, who is a data scientist, and today he will tell us about data science and how exactly data science has emerged as a stream or a field. And he is a data scientist from Singapore. So, hello, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for having me on the show. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're here with us today. And I just want to put it out there that the comment section is open for any questions as we go through this interview. So first, sir, I would like to ask you for a general overview on what exactly is data science and why, when I sent this to people and when we put this up on social media platforms, we saw a lot of questions about why exactly is the word sexiest next to the word data science, because it is not usually seen together. So could you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting actually. I think data has been there for a very long time and science has always been there. And, of course, similar kind of work has been done earlier as well. I'll not say everything that we are using today is brand new or, it is created yesterday. It's not like that. There has been research for last probably 50 or 30 years on different areas, But yes, currently as a field and as a career, it is growing really well. Probably we'll get into that little later. But yeah, this term, I think data science and the sexiest career, they started most probably in 2012, if I remember correctly. So there was an article by Harvard Business Review which, had this title. And after that, yes, not only that, a lot of companies also started hiring data scientists. And if you check Glassdoor, which is one of the most popular job sites, there in the last 4 years, based on the data that they collected, they ranked data scientists as the best career option. And in America, currently the average salary for data scientists is $120, which is pretty, good amount for a starting role. So yeah, because of all these, different mentions, it is becoming very hot. And I think even in India and many other places, again, it is, becoming pretty big. And as I see, a lot of companies are recruiting data scientists, and a lot of people also want to, join the field. So definitely, it is definitely one of the best fields. And I see, in the future, it will become probably even bigger than what it is now. Yeah.
What aspect of data science do you think is making people get or feel attracted to that particular job, and why is it growing at such a high rate as compared to other fields that may also be considered interesting as data science?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. I think some of it we touched upon earlier, but just to add some more detail to it. So when we talk about data science, right, it starts with data, right? So we always, had some or other data. But if I remember correctly, earlier even to collect, data of 100 people, people used to conduct surveys or used to conduct interviews and go to people and get their data, right? So we had some data, but in many fields it was somehow, limited. But if you see currently, last 10, 15 years, especially after the internet and mobile phone and smartphones, we are having, probably more data than we can process, right? All of us are using, social media, internet, mobile phones. So the kind of data that we have, it has become really huge. And that is somehow related to the concept of big data as well, which will not get into detail in this show. But yeah, first point being, lot of data is available. That's the point number one. Once you have a lot of data, it is important also to store the data, right? Probably earlier also going to different places, we had a lot of thoughts, but we did not document it. We did not take so many photos and videos, right? But now storage is so cheap, you can store all of the data, probably 1 terabyte hard disk comes for few thousand rupees or, few $100s. So storage has become pretty cheap. And storage and processing both are linked to computer and chip technology. So because of development in the chip technology and the silicon, all those things, and transistor electronics, storage and processing both have become very cheap and very affordable, and everybody is using it. So first point, I will repeat it, we have a lot of data. Second is we can store it very cheaply and easily. And we can process it also, because we have now, probably on mobile phone processors have, 2 gigahertz or very powerful processors, which are probably much more powerful than the processors that were there earlier for a, big computer. So
Yeah.
processing has also become very big. These are three main points. In addition to that, nowadays you will also hear terms like Python, R, and a lot of
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
tools, right? I think our audience also might have heard about them. So these free tools, what they do is, earlier there were some tools which are paid tools. So only people who can pay $2,000 or $10,000 can get a tool which can process a lot of data easily. But now anybody can go to internet, download R, download Python, and, start learning and start using the tools. So in my mind, these are the main four reasons: a lot of data being available, cheap processing and storage, and then a lot
Yeah.
of free and useful tools. And these are the main reason why this field is becoming so big and popular nowadays. Yeah.
So, sir, I would like to ask you, how exactly do you think artificial intelligence and machine learning in general are connected to the various careers in data sciences?
Okay, so there are some buzzing words. A lot of people use them interchangeably, and yes, there are some overlap between them, but there are some distinctions as well. So when you talk about AI is a much broader term. Artificial intelligence means anything which is not a human, probably a machine, which
Yeah.
can think and behave like a human or show some sign of what we call intelligence is called artificial intelligence. So in that way, even if a calculator can compute 2 plus 2, that is also a very small form of intelligence, right? So AI is a much broader field and it has been there for quite some time. But yes, recently we are seeing a lot of advanced development, especially in the area. I'll mention that. But uh, in summary, AI is a very broad area where a machine or computer can do some intelligent activity. Out of that, earlier when we programmed the computer, we used to put the code into the computer and computer used to follow the code, right? But now with machine learning, what happens? You don't have to give the explicit instructions, right? You feed some data, you put some framework, but computer from that framework and data can learn. That is something very interesting which has come up, which is the field of machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of AI, and there
Yeah.
are other areas of AI as well. And within machine learning, there are a lot of algorithms. We have regression-based algorithms, classification, and recently you must have heard of a lot of deep learning algorithms, right? Which actually tries to imitate something like a neural network. And these are very good for image or voice or text processing. And this particular subfield, which is again a subfield of machine learning, is basically deep learning. So if you got the picture correctly, then AI is the larger box. Within that we have machine learning, and within machine learning we have deep learning. Now data science can have some aspect of AI, can have some aspect of ML, can have some aspect of deep learning or DL. But main focus of that data science is more practical, as in you use these tools and technologies to solve a problem, right? Or add value to the business. So data science can use any of these tools and finally add value to the business. That's how I see it. Yeah, there are some other opinions as well, and no 100% correct definition, but broadly this is the definition, and this is how these terms are kindly defined. I can see some questions. Do you
Yes.
want me to take them or?
So there is Mr. Bhattacharya who is asking, sir, what are your thoughts regarding data protection, since data is a powerhouse but requires consent, and it has been misused quite often. So I think we were referring to big data. So, sir, would you like to go ahead?
Okay, so this is not the main purpose of this particular session, and this itself is a big topic, data protection, and you have in Europe now GDPR, and a lot of things are being talked about privacy. Yeah, I think privacy is very important, but I'll not get into detail because that itself is a big topic. But only thing I can say, as you get convenience, a lot of services you get for free. This is the price we are paying, that we don't have enough privacy and data protection. So I think,
Hmm.
yes, somewhere we have to strike a balance, and it itself is a big topic, and will probably require a full session, and I don't think we'll be able to get into more detail than this on this particular area. Yeah.
I think we should have a separate session on that, on
Yeah,
big data and like the
data
different
protection and
harmful
privacy.
situations. Okay. So moving on, I wanted to ask you, what are the key skills for data science, and what are the what is the job scope? Since you said that it is growing at such a high rate, what exactly are the prospects?
Okay, so I think prospects are, in many different areas. So let me try to, give the most important points which will be useful for someone who is starting out or who wants to get into the field. So first, I'll
Hmm.
probably discuss about the kind of industries. And as I mentioned, this field has grown because of data and lot of data being available. So the industries where we have lot of data and they are being stored and processed properly are the best suitable for data science. So if I think about that, the industries that come to my mind are, of course, our technology industry, which
Hmm.
includes all your Google, Facebook, and also some e-commerce sites like Amazon and Flipkart and all. Then you also have the retail industry. So earlier I worked for a company called Target, which is a retailer. Of course,
Yeah.
Amazon is both in offline and online, but Target is
Hmm.
primarily offline. We also have Walmart. So the big retailers also have a lot of data. So that's another good industry for data science. And also finance, your banking, insurance, and a lot of other financial institutions. They also collect a lot of data from the customers. So that's another industry which is very good for data science. Of course, other
Hmm.
than that, we have telecom, we have pharma, and we can also see applications in other areas like even agriculture. So I'll not go into those areas, but broadly,
Okay.
technology, retail, finance are the core industries. And I'll also probably touch upon the other question that you asked, which are the skills, which is a very
Yes.
important question and very relevant, probably for the people who are watching us. So in terms of skills, I think the most fundamental skill is mathematics and statistics, right?
Hmm.
Uh, you can do a lot of advanced things later, but your foundation has to be strong. And mathematics and statistics is the foundation for data science, right?
Hmm.
And in those areas, particularly, you should learn probability theory, statistics, linear algebra, and maybe a bit of calculus. These are the areas which are more relevant.
Hmm.
Then once you have the math and stats background, that may not be enough for data science because you can do small computations, but as we mentioned, big data and huge volume of data, then
Yeah.
you need some software or programming to process. So it's mainly for the scale of the data and processing. You need some
Hmm.
computer programming, and that is where R and Python fits very well. These are the two top tools I'll recommend for programming. Yes, SQL is also used, but R and Python are more closer to data science. Yeah, so first is maths and stats, second is your R or Python as a programming tool. And then you also need business or domain knowledge. That's also very important to understand, what data to pull, what variables to use. So business and domain knowledge is the third area. These three are the three most important areas. But yeah, in addition to them, if you have good communication skill and if you're good at storytelling and if you can, solve problems well, so means problem solving, those are also pretty relevant. But core three skills are the ones which I discussed first. Yeah.
So, sir, we had a question from Mr. Srinivasan saying, for a logician, what exactly is the prospect in the data science industry?
So I think data science is not limited to any particular field or background, but yes,
Hmm.
the things that I mentioned just now, you have to develop those skills if you don't have. And I think there are a lot of free courses available where you can even go online and learn. But yes, you need to develop those skills. You have to practice them, and you have to also do some real life projects. So you can come
Hmm.
from any background, but if you can pick the skills and if you can practice and learn those things, I think there is huge scope for data science for anybody. Yeah.
So anybody who is bad at math has to learn math.
I don't think anybody is bad at maths. I think what might have happened, probably they did not get the best of the teachers, or they had this fear
Hmm.
of maths, right? So what I realize is, you're never bad at something. It's just that you have not put enough effort, or you don't have the passion for the
Hmm.
thing, or you have not practiced it, well enough, or did not get that guidance. And if you get those things, then it's never too late. We have a lot of good courses online, and yes, but you have to spend the time, you have to learn, you have to practice. So don't think what you did or did not do in the past. If you are interested, if you are passionate, I would advise, please, go ahead, learn and give your best.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. So we have another question from Dr. Roy. Sir, what do you think of data science in healthcare? Can AI or ML replace or reduce the workforce in healthcare industry?
Yeah, I think it is already happening, and healthcare will be one industry where we'll see massive disruption, because we have a lot of big players, but enough disruption has not happened. Even for
Hmm.
finance, because
Hmm.
these two industries, there is a lot of data and there is a lot of scope. But disruption, if I talk about, there is more disruption that has happened in retail or some of the things that I have mentioned. And why finance and healthcare did not have that kind of disruption is because these are very sensitive industries, and also there is legal regulations, and you are especially in healthcare, right? You are dealing with life of a person, right? So we would probably still like to go to a doctor, but yeah,
Hmm.
definitely time will come then when we can see that there are AI systems which can do better than doctors, and then definitely there will be a lot of scope even for diagnostic, or even for preventive healthcare. There is huge scope, and I think the concepts are very similar across domains and can be applied. So for example, let me give a very simple example. For example, if I'm thinking about a retail, right,
Hmm.
or, or say e-commerce, I want to predict whether the customer will purchase or not, right? That's my
Yeah.
problem. It is called a classification problem in data science. Now, same similar thing happens in finance when you're saying whether to give a loan or not give a loan, right? From the data
Hmm.
science standpoint, it remains a classification problem. Yes, your data or variables will be different, but it's a classification problem. And when you're talking about healthcare now, if you want to predict based on certain data that someone has COVID or don't have COVID, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's exactly the same problem from a statistical or data science perspective, but yes, the data that I'll be using are different. So I see huge scope, but yes, uh, I think because of regulation, and since we are dealing with the life and health of people, it will take more validation and some time to get picked up more. But yeah, in future, I think it will grow much more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think validation is truly required for any field. So
Correct.
we are almost coming to the end. So I'll take this one last question from Mr. Jaideep. Sir, how to start learning AI and deep learning from start to end?
So, Jaideep, I am not sure whether you are listening from the beginning or not. We have discussed exactly the same thing, but I would not recommend you that you learn from start to end at one go. Take small pieces of it and start with that. And I would recommend that you start with the foundation. It's like if you're building a house, so when you're saying end-to-end deep learning, that's like probably a 100 floor house, right? A big
Hmm.
palace, something like that. But you can't build that overnight, right? You have to build the foundation, and that's where I mentioned first you start with mathematics and statistics, learn linear algebra, calculus, probability theory, and then start learning programming, maybe Python or R, and apply probably all both these concepts together in the form of machine learning. So once you have done these things, then only you should go for deep learning, not before learning all these things, because otherwise you'll copy some bunch of code from Google and it may run or may not run. But if it doesn't work, then you will not know what to do, right? So I'll recommend start with the most basic things and fundamentals. And in case you are interested, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I share a lot of different content and material related to the things that we're discussing, and all for free. So I think you'll probably get a lot more insights and some more resources for free there if you're interested. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much, sir, for all the information that you provided us with. I would like to ask you, is there anything finally that you want to add before we leave?
No, nothing to add. I think thank you very much for the Circle of Legends and Mr. Patel for inviting me, and to Jahnnobi and Nikita, both of you. I think you have done great job in organizing and arranging the shows. And maybe only the last thing I'll share to the viewers, that in case they want to connect with me or want to have more resources on the areas that we mentioned, you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can search on my name, or even on Twitter at the Dr. Angshu, or even Instagram. So, probably I'll be able to share more resources with you. So thank you very much. And I think I would wish all of you a great day and a great time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing with us, for collaborating with us. I am sure that everybody has learned a lot. Personally, being from another stream, I understood everything that you said, and these big words did not seem so heavy after all. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir.
Thank you. All the best. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.